Hello everyone, my name is Rob. Have you ever had to put on an act or had to pretend you were something you weren't? I'm not talking about simple lies, like, have you ever pretended you were blind? I'll confess, I did that once and it was too much for me to handle. I'll tell you the whole story. The year I pretended was quite hard on my family. My father had a new job, had to change schools. The truth is that the old school didn't have a good reputation. The guys at school didn't like me, maybe because I wasn't cool enough. Or maybe because I didn't have as much money as everybody else. I don't know. The teachers sometimes stood up for me. The bullies threatened that soon I wouldn't escape beating. The worst one was Nathan, the main bully, who was known to stick people's heads in the toilet. This was common in our school. I was their main victim and was subject to the most creative punishments. So the day came, I was going home after classes. Nathan with his friends were waiting for me on the street. The guys were playing with their fists. As soon as I noticed them, I ran away. But they caught up to me. Nathan took my backpack, scattered my books, textbooks, and they removed my pants, stole them, and left me in my underwear. They laughed at me, and I had to come home in my underwear. My mom had enough of this. Talking to the bullies, even complaining to the principal. That didn't work. It was hopeless. And all this because Nathan's dad is a major donor to the school. Then my mom decided it was best to transfer schools. I was so happy because I really wanted a fresh start in normal life. I really wouldn't have to look over my shoulder all the time for potential ass kicking. But my hopes were squandered. Even in the new school, although a lot was different, the same stuff kept happening. Weaker boys got picked on. I realized this as soon as I entered the school gate. The sun was shining that day and I was wearing sunglasses. And suddenly, I heard, "Ha ha, look at what we have here. Fresh meat." As soon as I turned around, I saw a second Nathan, a rich kid. He looked at me with the same deadly gaze as Nathan. His name was Josh. He came up to me with his minions, threw off his bag, and prepared to mess with me. At that very moment, a completely crazy idea came to me. I knew I had to do something, so I ran with it. "Who's there?" I asked. Josh chuckled, stepped closer, and took my glasses off. "What are you talking about? Your worst nightmare's in front of you," he said, and everyone laughed. At that moment, I stretched out my hands in front of me in an attempt to feel my space. Excuse me, can I help you? Where are you?" Josh's face changed as his gang whispered, "Hey Josh, I think he's blind." The leader was silent for a little, then said, I'm sorry, man. You need any help getting to class?" I said yes and realized that this was going to take a lot of work and I couldn't go back to my regular life. I was taken to class and introduced to my classmates. I explained this by the fact that in most cases I can see, but now I'm just undergoing eye treatment and therefore can't see everything yet. I was allowed to keep wearing my glasses. Everyone was trying to assist me. The teachers never gave me problems, and I finally got what I wanted. All this positive attention, and more importantly, immunity from the bullies. I was more than satisfied. And guess what else? They put Sansa next to me. It was a girl from another town. She also transferred schools recently. Sansa was such a nice person that I felt bad about pretending that I was blind in front of her. She was always fun, telling jokes. She always had a good energy towards me. She helped feed me, helped with my homework, and even did it for me sometimes. I saw her beautiful blue eyes and her light curls, and her ponytails fluttered so gently in the wind. I think I started to fall in love with her, but there's a small detail. She's actually Josh's girlfriend. He didn't care that we hung out together because he felt sorry for me. But over time, I got bored. I loved playing sports, video games. I always loved to play with my classmates. Rarely I'd get to play something and nobody touched me because there was always a teacher nearby. And sooner or later, I had to screw up. This happened a week later. Once, in gym class, I was sitting on the bench and pretended to be blind, as always. Then a ball flew in my direction. I automatically caught it and was impressed with myself. But everyone was shocked. I suddenly realized what I had done. I immediately threw the ball away again and began to feel the air, pretending to look for a bench. Sansa ran up to me. She helped me sit down and then asked if everything was all right. I pretended to have caught the ball by accident. After gym class ended, everyone ran to their locker rooms, and Sansa took me to the girls' locker room. I was so embarrassed, but I couldn't say anything. She asked the girls not to hide from me because I still couldn't see anything, as far as they knew, and she couldn't just leave me alone. I just sat down on a chair and my eyes involuntarily looked at how my classmates were changing. Damn, I didn't think I would feel so bad. I was sweating. My heart was pounding. Then I started looking at the floor. Sansa saw this and ran up to me with a t-shirt and no pants. "Are you feeling okay? You need help? What should I do?" I couldn't utter a word. When I saw her, I felt even worse and I just couldn't stand it. Left and ran away to the street. Sansa ran after me. She was so worried for me. She even offered to call a taxi and take me home. At that moment, I realized that this could not go on like this. "Wait, Sansa, I have to confess something to you." I told her my secret. And then I told her I was in love with her. She stood in front of me, in shock, took off my glasses, and said that I was lying not just to her, but to everyone in school. Sansa turned pale. She didn't say a word, and then she said that I was not only a little coward, but also a complete liar. "I actually liked you," she said, and ran away. At that moment, Josh came out of nowhere. He heard my secret, and not only that I lied to everyone, but also that I hit on his girlfriend. He promised that he would get his payback. I was disgraced by myself. I've never felt so ashamed. The next day, I got to school, and the rumors had spread quickly. I was not welcome. I got dirty looks, and no one liked me. Everyone thought that they were cheated, and they were right. I got what was coming to me. In the end, it's my own fault, but I only cared about what Sansa thought. I tried to talk to her, but she didn't even want to listen. And at recess, I tried to talk to her again. Sansa and Josh fought a lot, and I stood up for her. Josh said that if I meddled again, I'd be a dead meat. I didn't care. I couldn't let myself be afraid anymore. I said that he can't talk to her like that. "Why? She's mine and I do whatever I want," he shouted. I said that she doesn't deserve to be treated like that. "You don't deserve her," I shouted. Josh said that I shouldn't lecture him about what was right and wrong. "This is none of your business. She's mine," he shouted. Those words hurt me, and I swung to punch him in the face, but Josh didn't even blink. He was taller than me, stronger, and knocked me to the floor with one blow. I seemed to have passed out right then and there. When I woke up, Sansa was standing over me. She looked at me and cried, and then she called me a fool. "He could have killed you. Why did you intervene?" she asked. I just said that I had no other choice. "When I see how badly he treats you, I can't stand it," I said. As you can imagine, after the incident, Sansa broke up with Josh, and he didn't touch me anymore. I managed to get some respect in the school, and was no longer one of the losers. Sansa and I actually started dating, and I was so happy. I realized that I shouldn't lie anymore, especially since I'd gone too far. I was glad I had the courage to confess and fix my mistake. What do you think? Did I do the right thing? If you liked the video, then please leave a like and comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe.
Hello. My name is Irina. I have a rather delicate story that happened quite recently. I never thought that something like this could ever happen in my family. So sit back, listen, and I'll start the story right away. I have a brother. His name is Alex. My family and I lived in a small town for many years. I rarely talked to my brother. Of course, as kids, we often played together, but then everything changed when we moved to another house, to a completely different city. There's a lot of high-rise buildings, the city never stops moving, and you have to keep up. I don't know about him, but adapting to the city was very hard for me, because I needed to find friends, introduce myself to people, and not screw up. I also really wanted not to embarrass myself, as it was on my first day at the old school. I was so late back then, I came running in my slippers. So all the years I was called Slippers. Yes, Slippers. It was so shameful. So, even though the move was a huge plus for me, I was still anxious and nervous about it. My parents were always busy all the time, with the new apartment and the big move, so we both were left to just ourselves. Surprisingly, my brother began to change quite a lot in the new city. I began to notice his internal and external changes immediately, and it made me a bit suspicious. And turns out I was right. A little later, I found out more about his new hobby, and now you will find out about it. One morning at breakfast, my mom went to Alex's room several times to wake him up. He could not wake up at all, and I knew that he came home late because I heard him come in the morning. It was about 4 a.m. I did not tell my parents and decided to make sure of something first. Alex came out looking like a mess, slowly sat down at the table, and my mom began to yell that he was again missing university. My brother got out of this argument saying that he did not have classes in the morning, and my mom took his word for it. But she did not know that her son was becoming a different person, so I decided to ask him. Last night, I woke up from loud noises, as if someone was breaking in. I was so scared because it was 4 in the morning. "Did you hear anything, Alex?" I asked him and looked him into the eyes. It looked like his pupils got huge from fear, and I barely stopped myself from laughing, and my dad suddenly put his phone down and asked him what time he returned home. Alex mumbled something. He always does that when he lies. But he was saved by the fact that someone called my dad and he immediately went to work. Him and my mom got up and left, and I stayed to finish my breakfast. Alex finished drinking his tea and then went back to sleep. I remember that I had a presentation at school and asked him to lend me his laptop. He waved his hand without even opening his eyes. So I took the laptop and rushed to school. I was a little late for school, so when I flew into the classroom, I was immediately called up to give the presentation. I quickly connected my laptop and turned it on, while I myself was looking for a flash drive in my bag. Then I heard the wild laughter of my classmates and the scream of the teacher. "What is this?" I turned my head to the screen and saw open browser tabs with pages of famous prostitutes. And Google was also open, showing the prices of women in our city, and it also said how to become a mom for naughties, with wonderful pictures along with it. I blushed, ran over to my laptop, shut it down. How angry I was! I tried to explain that it was not mine, but my teacher was shaking with anger and gave me an F for that assignment. I came home angry and started yelling at Alex, but he was still asleep and did not even pay attention to me. I left his computer on the table, and then I noticed some cash lying around. Looking around the room, I saw some kind of fur coat and gold chains, glasses, and huge rings. "Oh no, has he become a pimp?" I thought to myself. My brother was waking up and I quickly ran out of the room. After sitting down for a while, I thought about it and decided that it was just wrong, that it should not be happening because we are a good family. And why did he choose this job? I did not scream or get angry. I just felt scared for him. And I was thinking how to make him give this up. But first, I needed to figure out where and how he worked. Then I came up with a plan of action and decided to take it into my own hands. I did not have to tell my parents about this matter. The very next day, I came to school and asked my friend Lola for help. She told me that her own brother liked to visit this woman and he often used her laptop. He never even deleted the browser history. So we sat down at her computer and began collecting information about prostitutes. You know, I never thought that so many beautiful women made money this way. Each website had its own ads with intimate images of the employees, and every time we closed the page and then suddenly we saw our PE teacher, I began to laugh like crazy with my eyes full of tears. Well, now we know why he looked like a mess in the mornings. I was looking for all kinds of places and spots where these women could be. There were many addresses, so I chose the ones I heard about and took pictures on my phone. Lola and I decided to pretend to be prostitutes to find my brother. We needed to change outfits. Oh yes, it was wild. We got our brightest outfits. Lola put on her mom's fur coat, hoping that she would not ruin it. I put on shorts, tights, did my hair like the people in the photos. We painted our nails, did bright makeup with the red lipstick, and then started the search. It's good that Lola had a car. On our way, people tried to hit on us at least 50 times. It was terrible, but we just kept thinking that we were on a mission and nothing more. We gave the middle finger to all of the guys and drove on. We first arrived at the nearest address. I put a mask on my face so that my brother would not immediately recognize me. I had to make sure that he was a pimp. When we approached the women, they gave us strange looks, and then one of them asked who we were and where we come from. I said that I was looking for Alex, and then a woman came out. She was big, with a cigarette in her mouth, wearing a t-shirt and leopard print shorts. Honestly, she looked like a sausage with some clothing on. She came up to me and began to touch me, saying, "So they gave me the skeletons? I will not earn anything on you," she shouted. "Hey, we're not for sale here. We have a mission," Lola shouted back in her face, and the woman slapped her. Lola went crazy. I realized that it was time for us to get away, and so we ran away quickly. Lola swore in the car for a long time, but I tried to calm her down, ask her to remember about our mission. We passed a few more places, and they all looked alike. The same smelly, scary ladies were everywhere, half naked and very rude. I could not believe that my brother got involved in this business. When we drove to more than half of the addresses, I nearly had a breakdown. It was so disgusting. A bit more and I was going to be so disappointed in my own brother. Lola tried to calm me down and then offered to get coffee and some snacks. I did not want to go anywhere looking like this, so we decided on takeaway food. As soon as we drove up to McDonald's to get some food, I saw a familiar fur coat in the distance. Oh no, it was him, Alex. He was walking back and forth and two prostitutes were walking next to him, so I guess he was offering them. Lola drove the car up to him and then I got out of the car and went straight to him. At that moment, he was showing the woman's body to some man on the street. Then I came up to him from behind and that man pointed a finger at me and asked how much I cost. My brother turned his head and could not say anything. "What the hell are you doing here? Go home now!" he yelled. Tears were rolling down my face and I was screaming that I would tell everything to my parents and that my brother was a pimp and a prostitute. And then suddenly I heard a strange voice. "Stop! Why are there extra people on the set?" Suddenly, a man with a camera and microphones emerged from a corner. The other man hid his face immediately and ran away. Everyone was so angry at me, as if I were a fool. And only after a few seconds did I realize that they were filming a prank. Yes, my brother is not a pimp, but a vlogger. Alex scolded me for a while and then told me to burn my outfit that I was wearing. I drove home realizing that we have a long conversation ahead, but I was so happy because I was wrong about Alex. By the way, guys, would you like to see his prank that he filmed that day? Then go down to the description box and find a link to his channel. And thank you for listening.